Two unemployed actors, two unemployed actors. They're just between projects.
Welcome back to Two Unemployed Actors. I'm Max.
And I'm Yasmin.
Brilliant. And we've got a great show for you today. Today I'm interviewing Yasmin, or do you like to be called Yaz? Yasmin?
Yaz.
Short, small?
Yeah.
Yaz
Yaz.
is okay? All right. So it's Yaz and Max having a chat. Because often we talk about up-and-coming actors and we obviously relate to our own experiences as Sam and Max. Generally, I'm playing the grandfather-father roles and Sam isn't. But there are other actors out there your age. Can I say your age?
Yeah.
Yeah? 12?
Yeah,
12?
12.
I'm glad I got that right. I did my research. And I think it's important to talk about everyone that's out there that's up and coming as an actor.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy for all of us. And sometimes it can feel like you're on your own. At least you've got your parents, which is great.
Yes.
So you're not on your own, which is important when you're young. But a lot of times it can feel like, you're going through everything on your own, and it's like you go to audition and something happens. It's like, oh my God, but it's happening to everyone else at the same time, First of all, what made you get into acting? Did you know you wanted to be an actor all the time, or?
Well, not really. I started 3 years ago and
Okay.
I actually did modelling.
Right.
But then I couldn't do the modelling pout or...
Wait, there's a pout?
Yes.
How does that work? Can you do a little demonstration? I know you just said you can't do it. Do you want to try? Try
Yep.
the pout. Go on.
So it's something like that. I can't do it.
It's obviously hard to do when you're laughing, but that's okay.
And I'm also too small, so I can't do that. But then I enjoyed acting, and
Okay.
now, yeah.
So getting up in front of people is okay and lots
Yeah.
of stuff. So you work that out pretty quick doing modelling, and it's like, well, what else can I do to get out in front of people? And that's good. What was your first? Do you remember your first few roles or the first few acting jobs you did?
One of my first role, I think I was in an Optus ad,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, that's what.
What was that? Was that like a family setting, watching TV or something, or you?
It was in a tent, and I was sorry, I can't even.
That's
remember.
okay. It's a whole 3 years ago.
Yes.
Several drinks ago. No, I'm joking. You don't drink alcohol. That's fine. So you're in a tent as a kid, just...
I was like sleeping, and then
Okay.
yeah, something.
Were you nervous, like with the whole... Because when you go, suddenly you're auditioning, and then all of a sudden you're in a studio or a location, and you got all the crew around and the director and everything. Was that kind of intimidating? Were you nervous at first, or was it kind of like, oh yeah, it's a job?
I was a little bit nervous,
Yeah.
but then I was like used to it, and
Okay.
yeah.
It's good. I mean, you adapt really quick as a kid, like, don't you? I mean, you're used to being told what to do, aren't you? So it's like having a director is just like having another parent.
Yep.
How does it work? Like, you've got school, you've got friends. I
Yeah.
presume you've got friends.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you've got this whole acting thing where you're auditioning and you're studying as well at the moment as an actor, or you're doing workshops every now and then.
I mean, well, I'm only in year 7, so like I
Okay.
don't have that much work.
Okay.
But sometimes I might have like something like a shoot to do, and then I might be late to parties or
Okay.
hangouts with my friends.
Tough, isn't it? Year 7? Being late to parties. I mean, gosh,
Yeah,
I was just
so
happy to be
tough.
invited to parties when I was in year 7, but anyway. It sounds like you're already juggling an A-list schedule, red carpet events, parties,
Yeah.
lots of stuff. It's like, fashionably late's okay, it's me. So it sounds like you're juggling school and work pretty well then. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there, like, have you worked through different types, different styles of acting, or have you just sort of found your way of working as an actor?
I've sort of found my way with working.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about all the different like styles, but I'm just trying to be as natural as possible.
Okay.
And
It's good. I mean, that's the right goal, I think. Like, I know because I had a break of 20 years, right? That's a long time for a 12-year-old. I know, yeah, wow. But anyway, a break of 20 years between acting. And when I was a teenager, I wasn't taking it that seriously. It was just, whatever.
Yeah.
But coming back with experience was pretty cool because then I knew my goal was the same, to come across really natural.
Yeah.
But because I was all about work and processes and boring stuff that'll put you to sleep real quick, the style I gravitated to was more about how process, because I was used to having processes and stuff with work. So that's kind of like a tool that I used to come across more natural.
Yeah.
Especially like in plays where you've got to do the same character, the same scenes over and over again.
Yeah.
To try and keep that same instinctive sort of natural moments, I'd have to use different sort of triggers in my mind. So I'm very visual. That's my little trick to sort of being more natural or consistently natural. Because obviously the more work we do, the less it looks like we're doing anything, right? It's just one of those things. Let's just talk about this week. So you had a short film on Sunday night. You did a night shoot.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And then you're on location for 3 days doing a television commercial?
Yeah.
This is just 1 week.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. And then auditioning as well. I have to confess, because we went to the same audition, obviously for different roles, obviously. I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
And you got yours. You got your congratulations. That was the TVC that was
thanks.
shooting. But obviously they thought I was too young to be a father. So, that's fine. That's good. Yeah, don't laugh that much about that. That's okay. Yeah, thanks. But when you're auditioning, do you get nervous anymore, or you just walk in and go, I'm here to practice?
I don't really get nervous anymore. I'm used to it now.
That's good, isn't it? It's just so funny talking to a 12-year-old going, yeah, it's fine. I'm used to it.
Fine.
Yeah, it's been 3 years. Get out of my way. Let me in. I'll do my thing and I'm out. And do you think about it afterwards a lot, or do you just move on to the next thing?
I usually just move on.
Yeah.
I'll do it and then just...
It's easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good. Well, it sounds like you've just developed this really professional approach to because what you're saying, some people really struggle with still, being able to be more relaxed in the room when they audition.
Yeah.
People spend a lot of money, a lot of time trying to get there. And the same as when, because I'm an overanalyzer, so it took a bit of practice for me just to forget about it and focus forward after I've walked out of an audition. But it's fun when you get there. You're already there. So that's good. That's good. You can relax a little bit, spend more time on the craft. What about when you're working? Have you had some really cool, fun times on set? Is there shoots that sort of stand out for you, or are they all just boring work?
No, I mean, they're all fun. I
Yeah.
don't have specific
I struggle with that.
shoot that I thought was
Okay.
the best or something like that. But I enjoy them all. That's
good.
Yeah.
Very, very politically correct answer. That's good in case anyone else is watching.
Yeah.
So that's really good. It helps when you've got parents that look after you as well. Make sure you're in the right locations and the right shoots. Good. What about, have you struggled with any sort of characters or getting into any sort of character on set? Or maybe you've rehearsed really well and then you're on location. Maybe it's a short film, for example, or something, and you're just struggling to get into that zone. Have you had many of those moments? Or does it all kind of flow pretty well?
I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it... Yeah, I don't think.
Look, I'd block that out too if that was me. So, but there's been times when there's just stuff going on. There's lots of stuff going on, and then I'm sitting there going, I just can't. Oh my god, I've just lost the line, or I've just hang on a minute, no, that's the line. And then suddenly it's rolling action. It's oh shit, I wasn't quite ready.
Oh yeah, I get so nervous when I The one thing I get nervous for auditions is forgetting the lines.
Yes.
The one thing.
Only every single actor agrees with you. Because it's come on, I've got, half a page to memorize. It's I can do this, and then, you think of all the times you've memorized monologues and stuff. It's I could do this, and you get there and it's oh shit. Pardon me, excuse me. I can forget everything so quickly. It happens sometime. I remember I went to an audition last year and I remember saying to Sam, look, it's 3 lines, whatever. I'll get it done. And you practice it different ways.
Yeah.
And then you've got your best one that you're going to go forward with. And you've got a few options up your sleeve. And I'm in there and I'm yeah, it's fine, no worries. And I'm looking at the phone, whatever. I'm just not present in the moment. I'm doing emails. I think I paid a bill or something. I know, right? Micro sleep. So, and then I walk into the room and I'm oh shit, Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness.
My goodness.
Oh my goodness. I've just forgotten I'm standing there like, I can't just walk in and say, hi, my name's Max. What's the first line? I don't really want to be that guy,
Yeah.
the high maintenance. So I thought it'll come to me. It's fine. And then I'm kind of struggling. It's like, oh, look, I have memorized. Like, do you want the script? It's like, they're like, do you want and I hate that because I'm like, I'm either reading or I'm acting, you know what I mean? And then I'm that guy. But I thought, you know what? I'll take a moment. I'll just relax. I'll get it. Yep, got it, and then boom.
Yeah.
And then they see them press record, and it's all like, don't let it freak you out and derail the whole day, because that used to be me. And then I'd be like, oh my God, that's horrible. I'd sabotage my own performance. And then I'd be thinking about it for like 6 weeks afterwards. It's like, oh my God, sabotaging everything else I'm doing for 6 weeks. Come on, pull your head out. But it's hard for some people. So it's good that you've got your stuff together. Like you're just focused. I know I've worked with a few children. I have to say they are getting older. Like everyone I've worked with, every child has been really professional. Like actually there was one short film. You know how sometimes you go on a short film shoot and you kind of like, these guys really got their stuff together. It looks really cool, whatever. And it's great. And then suddenly things sort of happen. It's like, oh, I wonder what this footage is going to look like. And then, you look at it and go, okay, that's nice. I won't show anyone. But it was one of those. And I just said, he was like 9. And I said to him, do you want to do a line read? He's like, yeah, sure. So we just sat there and we went through our lines and like, you know what you're doing, don't you? He's like, yeah. I was like, good. And then I went to my wife, my on-screen wife. And I said, okay, do you want to do a line? She's like, oh, yeah, okay. We'll hang on, where's my script? I'll get my thing. I've highlighted this and I've got... And so 5 minutes later, it's like we got there and then we got through it. It was a bit clunky. And I'm like, do you want to do it again? I'm like, yeah, okay. So we went through it a few times. And then, of course, every time we had this complicated shot which involved fire.
Oh, wow.
I know. I was lying on a bed and I had to have gel on one side so I didn't burst in flames. And then a flame bar on the other side. And then as the flames reach a certain height... my son has to walk in to a certain spot to say his line. And then my wife comes in to say something to him and to me. And so there's all this stuff happening. And then everyone's got their cue right. And take after take, he just come in, always hit his mark, always get the right eye line, always say the right, never fluff the line, the whole production.
Wow.
And yet we had to keep reshooting. And I was getting hotter and hotter, by the way. I'm like medium rare to well done, like fully, sunburnt. And because she couldn't quite get the line right, or the line was right, but it was to the son instead of to me, or it was just a bit clunky. But I've just found that, I don't know, maybe it's just my experiences, but kids just they're used to just getting stuff done and following direction really well.
Yeah.
And just nailing it. Like it makes it easier, I think.
Yeah. Because
then I'm spending less time sort of worrying about how we would interact and more time just doing the job. Enough about me. I am talking about you. What about, I know you're kind of limited in what characters you can play as a 12-year-old. It's probably like, you're going to be the daughter of someone, or you could be the protagonist. You could be the person who's leading a whole group of spy kids or whatever it is that's like cool right now. I don't know. Too old to understand. But is there a character that you'd really like to play, like a type of character? Is it like a superhero, or is it like is it something that you think at the back of your mind that'd be really cool to play if you could have unlimited opportunities? I know it's an important question. Not really, but
I don't think.
No.
I mean,
what do you find more fun to do? Like, is there sort of a character that you think would be more fun to play?
I mean, what you were saying, like a superhero.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
It would?
Yeah.
What would your superpower be? Jeez, I'm putting you on the spot today.
It's fine. Flying. Probably flying. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Actually, that'd be fun to work with the special effects behind scenes too. Flying around on a rig. That'd be actually, that's pretty good. I'm gonna write that down. I said to Sam when the Marvel confirmed Thor is going to be filmed, the next one in Sydney, that I've got a Batman costume. It's a long story. Don't worry. Batman costume, and he can put on a costume. We'd go there and we could just go up and down, film a bit for the podcast, and say, hey, look, we're so ready to play superheroes. And he quietly reminded me that it's a different universe to the Thor universe. It's like it's not even the same company. I don't know these things. Anyway, I'm showing my age. So what are you working on now? What are you doing? You're just practicing like your auditioning techniques or your accents, or what's normal for you?
I mean, I have been working on my US accent, and
There's a lot of US productions being filmed in Australia.
yeah.
It's good to have in your toolkit.
Hmm.
And have you got any auditions booked coming up? Anything you're excited for? No?
No.
After a busy week, geez, you've earned a day or two off, I think. It's crazy. You've been on set like 4 days out of the last 7. It's crazy. Okay, well, thinking about other Yazes out there, other Yasmins, what would your advice be if they thought, you know, oh, it looks really cool, I really love drama, I want to do more acting, what do I need to do? What would you say to them? Don't?
No. No. Just keep going.
Yeah.
And like, just keep practicing, doing acting classes, and just don't give up.
Yeah.
Sounds cheesy, but
No, it's really important, I think. You're
Yeah.
right. Because no matter your age, it's relentless. Like it's another audition, another, you know, it's like going through the cycle. It's like going for job interviews and you go to like, you know, 100 a year and then all of them are no except for 3 or something. You know what I mean? Like it is quite full on because it's a business behind the surface.
Yeah.
People forget. So it is good advice. Don't give up. Keep going. It's important because it's so easy to give up. There's so many reasons not to do it.
yeah.
And some of them are pretty logical when you look at the odds and everything. But you've done well to build up a body of work. Like by the time you're, you know, into your late teens, you'll have years of experience and pages of credits. It's like, it's pretty cool at a young age. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And because you're small, it's like you'll be playing teens into like your early 20s. It's like, it's great, you know? You have so many opportunities.
Yeah. Unless I grow. But
Unless like, oh, sorry, yeah, we've still got...
maybe.
Maybe.
But we'll see.
We know what you want for Christmas. Some more height.
Yep.
Okay, so say we've got a short film coming up and you've got your character that you need to play. How do you go about getting ready from when you get the script to when you're walking on set? Like, what do you do?
So what I would do is I read through the whole script, like read through everything on the page, so I know like the before and what the character is like, and then I'll run through with my mum, and then I'll do that a couple of times, and then I'll do it myself and just try and get the lines, and then I'll run through again with my mum, and then just go, and that's it.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you make it sound easy, but we know it's so much more to it. Do you think about blocking and stuff, like what you've got to do in the scene? Like if, say, you're on the phone and you've got to talk to someone else, like do you go through that sort of stuff as well?
Yeah, I would probably add that on because so basically I memorize the lines and try and get them, and then I'll add the acting.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm kind of back to front. I kind of go, like I'll read it and I'll know, you're right, read the whole thing because you want to know who the hell you're playing, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I'll understand the journey of the character, and then in each scene, what happened before and what's about to happen, the given circumstances, all that sort of stuff. And then it's kind of like I'll understand the emotion. So it's like, what's the character feeling? And then by the time I get to rehearse the lines, I kind of know where they're coming from. So even if I fluff a line or something, like it'll still sort of be on point because I've got the right emotion. People forget, like sometimes they think it's all about just remembering lines, but like then when you're there and you have to make like a drink in the fridge while you're talking to people, it's like there's so much more to that. Because being able to sit down and do it to like your mum, no offense to mum, is one thing. But then when you're actually in the scene, knowing what to say to whom, where's your eye line, what's going on, because it's, as we know, you're talking generally to a wall sometimes, or you know, the boom operator. It's like it's not normal, but to make you feel normal in an abnormal environment is hard. That's the job. But okay, so you've got a little process down pretty well then.
Yeah,
that's good. So you don't get nervous or anything. You kind of get excited then when you get a new script in your hands.
Yeah.
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 Maybe depending on the character.
No,
You do?
Yeah.
That's good. What about in a few years' time? Like, let's say you could do whatever you wanted to do and opportunities come your way. Where would you want to be? Oh, it's a big question, isn't it? It's like...
like where would I want to be in the future for
Like say Yaz in 5 years' time.
probably doing what I'm doing now, but maybe like in a university or something. Yeah.
It's good that you put university in there because your mum's here, so that's a plus. What about working overseas?
Yeah.
If you get a job on say Netflix part, it's so like now because and Sam and I have talked about on the program before where it's so global now, the auditioning process, and even before COVID, there was so much self-taping going on.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, any actor who hasn't practiced self-taping during COVID, like seriously, take a look at yourself because it's so important. Certainly now, obviously, it's normal for us. And even casting directors had to adapt at times. I find it easier in the room because I can sort of see their action. I can have a conversation.
Yes,
Yeah. And after you've done the first take, they can say, Bob, do this, and you kind of get it. Whereas,
yeah, they'll give you like instructions and what to do. So then you can actually figure out.
Exactly.
Because when you're doing like self-taping, you kind of just read the script and then take it with like you think of what to do.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
then
and you're limited to whatever you're thinking in that moment.
Yeah.
And even if you do like 5 takes that you think are amazing, you can't send them all 5. It's like too desperate. Like maybe 3 or something. And then it's like trying to choose which ones. Right. Anyway. Obviously, I prefer to be in the room too.
Yeah.
But there's so much of that going on now. I think even with like the big budget Netflix productions, you know, they actually factor in, and during pilot season, they factor in a lead time of going global, searching for talent. So there's different agencies in Australia that are aligned with like one CBS, one NBC, and some that a lot of producers that work on Netflix productions gravitate towards as well. So it's like they've like factored in this timeline of getting global talent. Obviously, in a world where it's easy to travel. So it might be a little bit before we get there. But having said that, there's a lot of productions coming to us, which is great. Yeah. It's really interesting that self-taping's just gotten so big. And like it was growing before COVID, and now with the plague, it's even bigger. It's interesting, but like there's so many different workshops now about self-taping, and so realizing you go self-tape. It's like, but I don't find it hard to do because it's like the pressure's off because you can just do take up to take and fluff it.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean?
You have like you can do it as many times as you want. Try and get it right.
Yeah. I think the way I kind of approach it is I'll do like I would in the room. I'd prepare the take, like the one I think they want to see. Yeah. And dial it up a little bit maybe. Yeah. Or take it a little bit in a sort of a bit of a direction, but so they can sort of see. And then I might do something that's a bit left of field, like something totally different. You know, something, lots of pauses even, or something so simple as that can change the whole play, you know what I mean? Yeah. I did some coaching and had a great coach, Pip Edwards, who would help to draw that. Like I'd turn up and I'd be like, okay, I'm ready. I've got it nailed. I know what I'm doing. And I'd go in and she'd be like, oh, damn it. Yeah. Let's try a little bit like, and I loved her no bull approach too. It was just straight, do this, do that, blah, blah, which is fine. So I'm like, okay. And then I'd get on with it. And then all of a sudden by the end of it, I'd have this performance that I didn't think I could, like I turned up thinking my performance is like, I'm on my A game. This is going to be brilliant. And then by the end of it, she's shaking me and it's like, it's this totally different. Whole nother level. Yeah. Those moments are great, aren't they? When that happens. And I find that there's a time and a place. Like if I'm going for a big, huge audition and it can be a bit intimidating for me in a way, I might do that again. And then I'd go to someone and say, okay, work through the scene with me and really shake it up a notch. So it helps you with a bit more confidence.
Well, this is just random, but I
like random. For
when fake crying, I can't do that. Can
you turn tears on? Can you make the tears run?
No.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I like think of something sad or like try my hardest, but they just don't come.
I struggle with that too. I can pull all the faces, you know. But it's really difficult to see. I did a workshop with Anthony Brandon Wong twice, right? And the second time I really tried to get it going, like the full, and he even directed the scene for a show for my showreel, which is fantastic of him. And like even then, with like intense one-on-one, it's like I couldn't almost. almost cried out of frustration. It's like, just give me a tear. But I needed to get a bit of, a little bit of the, what is it? This is stuff. I can't remember what it's called now. It's like tiger balm stuff where it's a bit hot. And I just dab a little bit under my eyes. Not too much, because then they'll be just watering like I'm having an allergic reaction. And it's like, I'm a blubbering mess. It's like, it's not a comedy, That's fine for a comedy. But a few little tricks like that. But sometimes it's just, feeling the emotion and kind of letting it flow. But having someone lean over you and go, okay, we're ready to roll and cry now, it's probably not going to help us, is it?
Yeah, no.
No, it's like, and when you're in the moment, you're trying to think, okay, cry now. It's like, it's not, you end up in that voice going, just cry. It's like, oh, that's not going to help me either.
Yeah, I feel like the emotion is like the most important.
Yep.
Like, even if you can't cry, it's just the emotion.
That's right.
That people like can see how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't need to see tears to know you're upset, right? That's really interesting. Yeah. I'm glad I found someone else who struggles to cry. Oh, God, such weird conversations only actors can have, right? You're still smiling afterwards. That's good. You survived. That's good.
Yes.
You've been listening to Max and
Yasmin
on Two Unemployed Actors, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Two unemployed actors.